done with the, the material he did with the whole Bill Cosby thing, blah, blah, blah. Like, my only takeaway with that is that I know that what made me sad about that whole thing was that Hannibal was clearly working on a bit that we will never see. And the reason why we'll never see it is because somebody recorded it. It became this Bill Cosby thing, but we will never see what he was working on because that is probably going to be lost in the fray. Like, it will not be that thing, But like, when I saw that, like, it's like learning from this is what I love about like hanging out at open mics or hanging out at the club. It's not only about, doing drugs, getting laid, getting drunk, whatever. It's like, if you can meet like somebody, they don't even have to do the same type of material as you.
Right.
Clearly, like Hannibal's thing is that there's a certain demographic for that. There's a certain a certain group of guys that are really into that. But like, if you can learn from somebody like that, like in this case, it's like work hard, stay humble, work at your craft, just keep going, keep pushing, keep doing it, like perfect.
Right.
It never stops. The training never stops. It's like what Kobe Bryant, is it Kobe or Larry Bird? One of those guys. Like, they would play the game, and then afterwards doing nothing but free throws. Everybody's clearing out, just doing nothing but free throws. And so for that, I was like, you know what? I've learned, don't be that comic that's too good to do a shitty room. Don't be that person that's too good to do an open mic. If you don't have to worry about a day job in the morning or your baby at home crying for milk or whatever, like, just keep going, like, keep doing it, because this is what we're supposed to do. Oh, and one more thing, one more thing, because before I forget, like, have you ever read Phyllis Diller's autobiography?
No.
Oh my God, you have to read this. Like, my thing is, like, I read a lot of I'm doing a lot less reading in the last several years, but there was a time when I had a commute and I would read. Like, I would read books written by comics, not the kind of books that are just regurgitated material. Like, and you've seen them. It's basically they're set and then they throw a couple, and not those. I'm talking about their memoirs or their autobiographies, like, coming from them. If you get a chance, you definitely should read Phyllis Diller's memoir, because I think you're going to get a lot out of it. Like, I read it several years before she died. And what's amazing about that is, like, Phyllis Diller was a woman who was married and had a whole hell of a bunch of kids. I think this woman had like 5 or 6 kids. She had a career, like at a radio station, like doing corporate promotions, like at a time like this. We're talking about the 50s and the 60s.
Yeah, she's one of the greats, along with Joan Rivers. I mean,
I'm
just
telling
the women
you,
that pioneered the way.
Yes. And what's amazing about that, like, the insight that she has, even though the type of material that she did is different. Like, now everything is very, like, self-reflective and blah, 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 whatever. And her stuff was more like, that whole, not quite Catskills humor, but, the setup punch, that traditional type of thing, a lot of self-deprecating material. But you get the insight of why she did the things she did, like the way she dressed, the way she did her hair, the advice that she got on stuff, the way she handled relationships. And that, to me, like, reading those type of books, it's kind of like having an opportunity to speak with a comic that I might not be able to speak to face to face, but it's like having that conversation, So there's another book, Comic Insights, that's by God, I forget who wrote that book, but it's basically a compilation of maybe 30 different interviews. Franklin Ajay. Yeah, Franklin. Yeah, if you get a chance to read his book, read that, because that's got a whole ton of comedian interviews, like a comic interviewing other comics. And a lot of these are people that before they blew up, Even people like Bernie Mac, his memoir before he died, like I got that one, like Chris Rock, even like freaking the one that was like one of the most hilarious ones, like Don Rickles. Like that, it hurts me that I never got to see Don Rickles
I did
in person. Oh my God.
I'm showing my age. I'm showing my age, aren't I? But I did. I saw him in Vegas. You know who I've seen some of the old greats. I saw Rodney Dangerfield at Caesar's Palace.
Oh my God.
In the early 80s, right when he was doing that movie, that school. Remember that he was in school?
Yes.
You know? And yeah, I was fortunate that I did get to see them. And another great old school guy for me was Buddy Hackett. He was another one of the, you know, but I tell you, you know, it's been really great though chatting with you, and we do need. Yes, I mean we've just been going here, girl. But
I'm just dinging down that Apple rating, iTunes rating.
You're doing. It was great. But no, I definitely have to have you back because I would love to, you know, talk more comedy with you and. You know, we can do some stupid news and some instigating too, you know? So
it was awesome.
Right now the news is just, everything is Corona. And I'm just like, I just feel like I've exhausted myself. Like I can't find any other ridiculous news except for Tiger King. Anything about Tiger King is amazing. If you watched that yet?
I am actually on episode 5 because I finally had to see what the deal is.
Yeah.
And I don't, oh my God, I'm like, there's so much. And
it's just too much.
It's so much. And like people were trying to explain it to me and they couldn't. And now I understand why. It's like, it just gets weirder and weirder. And weirder.
Like you can't make up that cast of characters. And those are real people. Like I couldn't even, but it was funny because as Casey, I did a little, you know, a Zoom, little Zoom show with her last night. And she was saying she watched it and she couldn't stand it and it was terrible. And I'm like, you are a monster, number one. She said, Cindy, you love the Tiger King because you're not used to seeing people like that. I live in Florida. We are used to seeing people like Joe in Florida. You're kind of like, you know, but like middle south, right? Is it the middle? What do you?
I'm like southeast. I'm like way south. I'm not even really in Florida. I am actually in Latin America. Like this is not.
So for you,
yes, it's not the same.
Miami and none of that's the same. But we're talking. You go up more to the middle, the inland of Florida. It's all Joe's, you know, and Doc's, right? I mean, come on. You've seen that haircut at some point.
Yes.
Right, you know, in Florida. But she's just like, you love it because it's new to you. I'm like, well, I'm in upstate New York, so trust me, I still kind of see that.
Yes.
You know? But it's priceless. And I'm going to tell you a quick thing. My girlfriend, we were in Tampa, and I don't remember why. We were in Tampa for something, and she said, I want to go to the Big Cat Rescue.
What?
We got tickets to go to the Big Cat Rescue. Now, you know who owns that was Carol.
Yes! Oh, my God!
Me and her were sitting here watching the Tiger King, and we're both like, wait a minute. We were there. And I said, I knew that lion looked at me like it had tasted human blood before. You know, she ground that man up, girlfriend, and fed him to those tigers. Carolyn Bassett killed her husband. And I saw them lions with my own 2 eyes.
Oh my God.
Can you believe? I said, how dare you? We donated to that crazy bitch.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
It's in Tampa, the Big Cat Rescue.
Oh my God. See, now it's like I'm dying to go see it.
Now you want to go.
I want to go just for the train wreck effect of it. But I don't know.
But it's dumpy. Joe's was nice. His zoo was pretty nice looking. Carolyn's was a weeded up dump.
Oh wow. Wow.
Yeah. Joe's in jail 20 years.
Oh man. Well, I'm on episode 5, so I'm gonna see how that plays out.
You see how that all plays out.
Yes.
you know, that they had on the news that Trump, they were joking with Trump, asking him if he would pardon Joe.
Yeah, I
He's
can
like,
see
I
him.
don't know who he is.
Yeah,
But I'm thinking
well,
if Trump does want to win the election, if he pardons Joe, that's a shoo-in.
Exactly.
I'm not a Trump fan, but I'm thinking if he pardons Joe, that shit's a shoo-in.
Yes.
Yeah, but really quick, I do have to say something
Yes.
about comedy in Florida.
Mm.
I tend to walk on the politically correct line. I walk on that line. I do.
Mm-hmm.
And being, you know, older, when I go to the open mics, I always trust my young woke comedy friends. They're all in their 20s. I'm like, look, girlfriends, if I'm crossing a line, you need to set me straight. Because this old lady, you know what I mean? It's a different generation. I grew up, you know what I mean? So they'll always be like, all right, you know, you can reword that, whatever, you know, because I need to get my point across and not obviously be offensive. But I think the whole politically correct thing is definitely has gone a little bit, you know, they've gotten a little crazy where I am. In Rochester, it's very politically correct here. It's tough.
Really?
But Buffalo, the Rust Belt, you can let it rip. But I have to tell you that my stuff in South Florida, it goes great. And I, you know, and like I will get off and they'll be like, you just told a retard joke and killed it. But you know, I mean, it's about myself.
Right.
But still, you guys, it's a lot. Do you find Miami like that too?
Well, you know, well, I think that it really depends on which pockets you're in. Like,
okay, that's right.
Yeah, because like if you're in places like, you know, Wynwood or South Beach or, you know, those, like, that's a different type of monster. You're talking about like and I don't mean this in a disparaging way, but no, you know, hipster,
yes,
liberal.
Thank you.
You know,
college towns.
Yes.
Big collegey type places.
And like, you know, even like depending what type of LGBTQ, you know, sometimes LGBTQ can be very PC, very politically correct to the point of like, okay, like, you know, it's like what, you know, there's no room for, you know, there's a lot of that indignant about what, and I think that everyone should be respectful. I think there's a difference of like
offensive and disrespectful,
yes,
aside from respectful and funny.
Right. So if you're like, what I loved about Don Rickles is that he made you feel like we're in this together. Like it's
right.
like we're in a big family reunion and I get to make fun of Uncle Sal and Aunt Janie and cousin, you know, It's or whatever, you know. So you're all in this thing together. You're not trying to destroy someone. I've been in situations where like, even I, like, look, I will roll with it if it's funny. Like, it's very rare that I'm not going to laugh. If it's funny, it's funny, you know? But what I don't like is that if you're a comic and you're saying something and then you got to own it. So if you want to make jokes about Nazis eating babies and blah, 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 if that's your shtick, hey, if it's
better
funny,
be funny.
Yeah, be funny, but
be
own
funny.
It. But
I agree.
Right, but don't give me this crap about like, oh, well, people didn't laugh, so clearly they're not, you know, like you're forcing them to agree with you're saying.
Thank you.
I will agree for, like, look, you have the right to say whatever you want. You could say whatever you want, but you better own it. And you have to understand, not everybody has to accept what you're saying.
Right.
But I do feel that if you own it and you're being confident about it, people, they might not laugh, but they will respect you owning it. But you gotta be like, you gotta know that, hey, if you're gonna say something that's like putting gasoline on the fire, you better own it. Like you take ownership of that and like stand behind your words. If that's what you like, versus just trying to be shocking. That's the problem.
No, that's the problem. Right. I mean, you know, but yeah, I mean, I remember when I first started, I opened with a couple lesbian jokes. I always open with the same one, no matter what my set is. I try to, you know, open with that because I feel like when I'm telling stories, if I'm not coming up there and saying, look, I'm a lesbian, then you're not going to get it. So I come up right away. I start with like, you know, my lesbian, about me being a lesbian, blah, blah, blah. And then I do have, you know, depending on the crowd, I have more lesbian.